Now we are going to look at the "where are you from" question. There are several places where you can do that. You can do it at the application by specifying it, or you can detect it at the identity provider or the issuer. So the case description here is that some people just do not know where they are from. They don't understand the question you're asking. It's a bit getting used to, but still then it might be a question that you want to remove, and that is definitely possible. And the principle is just tell the issuer what the home realm is. And to get that data to the issuer, we will add it to the initial request to the application. We can use the same WHR parameter or an equivalent parameter, doesn't really matter. Then the relying party, the application, copies it from its first GET request into the redirect request, and you're also. But the concept goes further. Sometimes there's a whole chain of issuers, and then you have to do it in a couple of places. First, you do it the application as the bullet above, which copies it to the first issuer, and on each issuer, but definitely the first one, you will get into the home realm discovery page when the WHR parameter contains something that it didn't know. Then you can detect it, and if you know where it is, redirect there, or if you don't, redirect to some default route. That will work too. Another scenario, a little bit different from the previous one, because the previous one, the user was specifying where it came from. Whether it does that literally themselves or just pushes the right link, doesn't really matter. The user still specified it in the request. Now in a branded outsource site, that's a little bit different. There we can automate it completely. Often a company is running a collection of sibling sites with their application. All sites are almost identical, they just have styling differences and some specific enhancements and customizations. For instance, you are a beer or liquor transport company and all logistics is outsourced to you. Your transport company runs the website as a service for your partners, the beer vendors. The person with a browser will assume that they are connected to the actual beer company. Or another example would be a flight reservation system, but you do not want to maintain a frequent flyer account store, and you sure don't want to do the password maintenance on the account database. This is a typical example where you do not need to ask the user for their home realm. The fact that they are there on a specific instance of your site means that you know where they are from. And therefore you can fix this at several places. First at the application. There is a home realm parameter in web.config. Just fill it in and the parameter will be there when it's redirected. Or you can put the home realm parameter in there in an event if you want to do that. And the other method is to do it at the ADFS server. If there is no home realm, then you'll get to the home realm discovery page. You can take a look at the WT realm parameter, that's where the application is. And based on that, you may be able to say, okay, go left, go right, whatever. Now there's a little catch-22 here too. Having the same URL for your single instance of an ADFS server for all your applications is non-trivial. Making your applications independent, just write them relative. But for ADFS, that's a little harder. We are at the server of the Orange organization, and this is a very nice organization because they have provided a portal for their users. Take a good look at what's going to happen here below when I go and hover over this one. Here you can see at the bottom, go to wifdemo1 in the subdirectory, which means must be authenticated. Then there's a WHR parameter with the entity ID of the Orange organization. So this low-tech portal, but very cheap, it's free, it's in the box, has prepared a link. And if the user goes to the wifdemo1 application, which is on green, then bang, home realm, no questions asked. But we're not going to log on because that would give us a realm cookie, and we don't want that because we first want to go back to wifdemo1 and show you something else. And that is a redirect to issuer. Here we have a little list with a string that is displayed here above and the realm that goes with it. This was pspar with its entity ID. Okay, now let's go again to Wayf demo. And now I'm going to say WHR equals barf. Now that is nowhere in the entity ID list. That's why I showed you the list. But let's do it. And we still end up on orange. Remember in the theory I said you can make a default route? Well, that's what we did. And we'll show you the code now. First, a look at Wayf demo 1, because when the nice orange portal had a link prepared with the entity ID of itself going to this Wayf application, you go and fetch a page. It must be authenticated. It will be redirected. That's exactly where we are here. And in this event, I pick up the WHR parameter. If it is not null or empty, then I copy it to the realm in the message. .if finish everything for me and does the redirect with the WHR parameter. That was one. Okay, let's take a look at our server. There's our server. And this is what we did in home realm discovery. Let's go to the code behind. Come on. Good. This is the default code. That's already there. But I just added a grid and made it visible. That's the part you saw. That's the list. And then, since we did not have a realm cookie, we came into this place. But the WHR parameter that was in there, which caused the redirect in the first place, in this case it was an unknown one, so we get here. There I do two things. First I check for this old ADFS1 thingy. If so, I select my home realm. But if it says barf, well, actually, if it doesn't say this, but if it says barf, then I redirect to orange. So, that was about taking the home realm choice away. The notorious question that's so hard to get away. Well, it's not so hard.